Hello guys, thank you for joining Home of Politics. Consider subscribing, liking, commenting. Do not forget to share my videos and remember to turn on the notification button so that you remain updated. My good people, right now the issue about Haiti, it is the resignation of its Prime Minister Ariel, who was recently in Kenya to sign a document with our president about the peacekeeping mission in Haiti. And today, if you do not know the reasons that has caused the resignation of this prime minister, then stay tuned inside here and we are going to discuss more about it. And how is it possible for a leader to decide to step down at a critical time when his support is really needed, when he needs to settle peace in his homeland, and he's deciding to resign? Why do you think this has happened? Ladies and gentlemen, we know that right now most of the countries they operate within democracy. They operate and they respect the issue of election, which is a very crucial thing in the leadership of our nations. And so if we can dig to the point number one, this prime minister who visited Kenya from Haiti is one of the ministers who is not wanted in his home country. Why? He does not have the support of the citizens of Haiti. This is because this is a leader who ascended in office after the assassination or after the murder of the previous president of Haiti in 2021. And this is when this prime minister assumed the office. He was not elected by any of the citizens, and it means that if you are not elected, you are not the people's choice. And so it is telling us that this prime minister has been leading Haiti, but the Haitians themselves are not comfortable with the leadership of Prime Minister Ariel. And so if you are not the people's choice, you are imposing the laws. You are heading in every office. You are passing out judgment and doing everything that is not pleasing to the people. And so he has been rejected by his own people, and that is why he has decided to step down from leadership. Also, if he has not been elected, it's not the people's choice, which means there will be no any collaboration between this leader and the Haitians themselves. And that's why the terrorists or these gangsters have decided to take control of the nation, to forcefully make Haiti a hostile place for this prime minister so that election can be done and the right choice of leaders can be made. And so there is a possibility, even if there is a war in Haiti, the civilians are comfortable somehow because they ought that a new leader will come in. Maybe it will be a leader whom people will install in that office. He is also being considered as a corrupt leader in Haiti, and that's why they are not wanting to hear any story to do with this prime minister. And lastly, we know a democratic country observes the rule of election, but it has been reported that this prime minister have been postponing elections for so many days, and through this postponing of elections, he is trying to extend his time of tenure in office. That is making people to be so uncomfortable in Haiti. And so even if he has decided to retire or to resign, it is clear that he's not the choice of the people. He is not loved by Haitians people. My good people, in order for you to have the support of your citizens or your subject whom you are leading, there must be something that is connecting you with them. For example, here in Kenya, maybe if our president can lose that relationship between himself and us, the citizens, then his leadership will be very rough. He will not be able to control Kenyans as a nation, and that is what is happening in Haiti. And so my good people, another reason is that this prime minister, despite going around the nations begging for help to restore peace and order in his nation, then he has immediately given up, because superpower nations like USA, France, they are not even bothered with this war in Haiti. These are the countries that can declare anything, and the state can be controlled within few hours because they have sophisticated military, they are well trained, they have a lot of impact on the world. And so if USA itself, for example, it was the other day, the military of USA, they entered Haiti through the marine, and they went there not to restore peace or to control the war that is happening in Haiti, but to pick their belongings that is in Haiti together, facilitating the vacation of these people who are in Haiti, who are the USA residents. And so as we speak right now, even the embassy to Haiti that is in the embassy to USA that is in Haiti does not have any of the USA citizens. There is no any citizen of USA that is around Haiti. They have been removed, all of them, from that nation. This tells us that the prime minister has seen that the interest of USA is not in keeping the peace in that nation, but it was there maybe for businesses, for trade and other things. But since the environment is not conducive, it has just packed its belongings and they are out of it. And so if a superpower nation like USA is not taking part in this war, how comes then he can continue with the peacekeeping mission that was promised by Kenyan police officers? And if you compare our military skills with that one of US, in fact, we cannot compare, because this is a third world country that is developing. You cannot compare it with a superpower nation like USA. And so something that has hit this prime minister so much, it is the issue of USA opting to finance Kenya in order for Kenyans to send its own police officer to Haiti. But USA itself is not part and parcel of the war. And so it is something to do with the issue of using Kenya to force issues in Haiti, and not the real support of USA. And so it has discouraged this prime minister so much to see that if a superpower nation is opting to support a third world country to send its police officers to fight in the battle, why is he now going how is he going now to face the situation there? Because he see this one is a failing mission already, now that a country like USA is not involved in the war. And maybe the last one, Kenyans themselves do not support the issue of Haiti mission. It is everywhere in the social medias. Even when this prime minister landed in Kenya, people overreacted so much. Why has he come? We do not want our police officers to be sent in Haiti, because we know they are going to die and there is nothing we will be compensated with. And if there will be a compensation, money or funds cannot be equal to somebody's life, and it is the government that will benefit, not even the police officers. And so the first thing is that Kenyans are opposed to the issue of Haiti mission. It is because the High Court itself declared the offer to send our police officers to Haiti something that is illegal. It is null and void. And we all saw that decision that was made the other month when it was sent to the court. We also saw the parliament. These politicians argued so much, and they said it is not going to be possible for us to leave our own officers to go and suffer in Haiti. Same to the citizens themselves. You can hear from the social media everywhere. Even if you can interact with a person one-on-one physically, talk about the issue of Haiti mission, people are not comfortable with sending our police in Haiti. And lastly, we can see even the church and other organizations in Kenya, they do not see the benefit of sending our police officers in Haiti. Yet we have our own problems here in Kenya, like bandits and internal conflicts within our own communities, that we need our police officers to restore peace and order in several places in Kenya. And so if we can put all these categories of people together, it is true that Kenyans are not able to allow these police officers to go in Haiti. Apart from few government officials, starting with the president and his cabinet plus his members, few government officials have forced this issue of signing the document to send our people in Haiti. And so if a big population of Kenya, they are opposed to the issue of Haiti mission, few government officials are the one who is supporting this to an extent that they signed that document to welcome the peacekeeping mission in Haiti. And so after this prime minister have observed all these issues of Kenyans rebelling to the support of Haiti, then he has no hope, because the first thing, the court declared this issue null and void. Same to the citizens. And he is one of the people maybe who is following up stories on the social media. He's seeing it as an impossible thing, even if Kenyans will be facilitated or will be financed by USA to go to the war. Why USA itself, it is dragging behind, then he sees this one as a losing battle. And the fact remains that if he is not loved in his own hometown, if he is unwanted leader, he was not elected, he just ascended to power by himself, then even if they send their troops and troops of soldiers to go and fight, the final thing remains that the Haitians want this prime minister out of office so that elections can be carried out to usher in a new era of a new leader. And so, my good people, those are the possible reasons for resignation of this Haitian prime minister. And if you agree with this analysis, please give me a like in this video, and you can also channel your opinion in the comment section. I'll work hard to respond to them. Have a good day.